and welcome to our show, Cooking with Keira. Today we're going to be making a delicious dessert that's everyone's favorite around my house. It's called Sopapilla Cheesecake and it's delicious. So Keira, can you please tell our viewers what ingredients we're going to be using today? Keira? Keira! Keira!
What? Wait, are we filming already?
Yes, weren't you listening? I asked you to tell everyone what the ingredients we're going to be using today for our Sopapilla Cheesecake.
Oh, gotcha. Well, first we have our tubes of crescent rolls. Then we've got our cream cheese, some vanilla, sugar, cinnamon, and of course we've got to have our butter.
Everyone knows that something's better with butter, right? Okay, so we've got our oven preheating to 350 degrees. We've got our 9x13 baking dish that's already sprayed with non-stick cooking spray. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our crescent rolls. I don't know if you've ever opened a can of crescent rolls, but it's really fun. First you peel back the paper and then you bop the can on the counter and poof, the can pops open. It's so fun. Keira, can you please open the crescent rolls? Keira? Keira!
What? This quarantine is really doing a number on my cuticle care and I am just not happy about it.
Keira, can you please open the crescent rolls?
Oh, okay.
All right, while Keira's opening the crescent rolls, we're gonna get started with our filling. We have our 2.5 packs of cream cheese here, and then we're gonna put in a 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. Did you know that 1 cap is just about 1 teaspoon, so it's perfect, and 1 cup of sugar. In a second, we're gonna mix it up, but first we need to put the crescent rolls in the bottom of the pan. So, Keira, what are you doing?
I am trying to get these packages open, but they made it very difficult.
Keira, weren't you listening when I explained how to open a package of crescent rolls? It's actually very easy. You just peel the paper. Go ahead, do it. All right, you peel the paper and then you're gonna bop it. Oh, you didn't even have to bop it on the counter.
That's
just
really fun.
That is really fun. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is lay the crescent roll dough flat on the bottom of the pan. So Keira, can you go ahead and do that? All right, so we have our bottom crust. For the filling, we mix the cream cheese, the sugar, and the vanilla until it's creamy. We'll use a hand mixer to get it nice and creamy. All right, so we're almost done putting together this delicious cheesecake. All we have to do now is put on the top layer of crescent rolls. Keira, will you please do the honors? Keira? Keira!
What? Oh, sorry, this is just a really funny show.
You're watching a show while we're trying to do a show? You're supposed to be listening to instructions. Listening is very important.
I know, I'm sorry. What did you want me to do?
I want you to put the top layer of crescent rolls on the pan.
You got it, boss.
Okay, so we're almost done here. Just a couple of more steps. We are going to melt this stick of butter until it's completely liquid, and we're gonna pour it over the crescent rolls. Keira, will you please put the butter in the pan? Keira, what are you doing?
Do you think one of my eyes is bigger than the other one? I'm serious. I think this eye is bigger than this eye. I'm sure of it.
I have no idea. I just need you to put the butter in the pan.
Oh.
Can you get that done, please? What? Wait, What are you doing? No, no. Oh my goodness, you have to melt the butter first and then pour it over the crescent rolls.
Well, why didn't you say so?
I believe I did say so. Ugh. Can you please just take the butter, put it back in the cup? Can you pick it up? Is it? Ugh. Okay, that'll work. All right, go ahead, put it in the microwave. Nice and melted. Okay, so we have melted butter now. We're going to pour it over the top. And then after she's done with that, we're going to sprinkle some sugar and cinnamon all over the top of the cheesecake and pop it in the oven so it can bake. All right, now we're all done with everything that we need for the cheesecake. So go ahead, Miss Keira, and pop it in the oven. We're gonna let it bake at 350 for 30 minutes. And while the cheesecake is baking, we'll have time to tell you a Bible story. And guess what it's all about, Keira?
Cheesecake?
No, it's all about listening and how important it is to listen, especially how important it is to listen to God.
Sounds like this is a story I need to hear.
Well, why don't you go over to the table and listen while I tell the story?
Sounds good to me.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a very important story about listening. Our story starts off with a woman named Hannah. She was married to a man named Elkanah. Elkanah was very kind to Hannah. He loved her very much. But Hannah was sad because she didn't have any children. She had prayed and asked God for a child, but nothing happened. Every year, Elkanah and Hannah would travel to Shiloh to worship at the temple. Hannah took this opportunity to go to the temple and pray. She asked God to give her a son. She promised that if God would give her a son, then she would make sure that her son always served God. Hannah was praying silently, but tears were running down her face as she prayed. She started crying so much that Eli the priest noticed her. He thought something must be wrong with her, so he went over to her to find out what was going on. Hannah explained to Eli that she was so sad and she was praying to God that he would give her a son. Eli told Hannah that God had heard her prayer and he was going to give her a son. How happy Hannah must have been as she set off on her journey back home. And sure enough, a little while later, Hannah had a baby boy. She named him Samuel. As soon as Samuel was old enough, Hannah took him to the temple so he could live with Eli and learn how to serve God. Because of course, Hannah remembered her promise to God. Samuel lived in the temple and learned from Eli. Every year, Hannah would visit him and bring him a new coat. Samuel learned a lot from Eli. One night, while Samuel lay in bed, he heard a voice calling him. Samuel! Samuel! Samuel thought Eli must be calling him, so he ran to where Eli slept. Yes, Eli? Did you call me? Eli was confused. He hadn't called Samuel, so he sent him back to bed. As soon as Samuel lay down, he heard the voice again. Samuel! Samuel! Samuel knew he heard something, so he ran back to Eli's room. Here I am! What do you need, Eli? But again, Eli was confused. He hadn't called Samuel, so he sent Samuel back to bed. This happened a third time. Again, Samuel went into Eli's room. Did you call me? Suddenly, Eli realized what was happening. It must be God who was calling for Samuel. So Eli told Samuel, the next time you hear the voice calling you, say, "Speak, Lord, I am your servant. I'm listening." You see, Eli knew that if God was calling out to Samuel, then it was very important that Samuel listened to God. Did you know it's important that we all listen to God too? God speaks to us through the most important book called the Bible. If you want to know how to have the best life ever, then you need to make sure you're listening to God by reading your Bible. God spoke to Samuel that night, and he continued to speak to Samuel for his entire life. Samuel was a wise man who always listened to God and followed the path that God set in front of him. I hope that all of you will stay on the path that leads you toward God. There are a lot of things in this world that try to get us off the path, but we always need to stay focused on Jesus, and we need to always listen to God because listening is important.
Aha! Here's our completed Sopapilla cheesecake. I can't wait to have a bite.
It is so delicious. This might be something fun for you to bake at home with your mom, your dad, or your grandma. We'll share the recipe at the end of the video just in case you want to make your house smell great.
We hope you have a great week. See you next time on Cooking with Keira.
Bye.